Well, good morning, everyone. Hope your day is going well. I love it when we have exciting stuff to mull over, to dive into, to discuss. And of course, the PGA Tour doesn't let us down with that. They came out with their statement talking about things that were talked about and discussed and decisions that were made based on the secret meeting they had the other day. All right, so Tiger Woods and Rory and a bunch of people got together with the tour for a secret meeting, and a lot of speculations, a lot of things were coming out. Let's kind of dive into what was said and then read between the lines a little bit. All right, so new policies moving forward with the PGA Tour, which are good. And there's an elephant in the room that we'll talk about here shortly. All right. But here's basically the things that are going to change on the PGA Tour. First of all, they're going to have 12 events that are going to have like a heightened status, a level of status. So you got those 12 events. Then they're going to announce 4 more to make 15. And so the top players are expected to play in all of those. And plus the majors, which equals 20. All right, so these tournaments would include, obviously, all the majors. And then we're talking about, the players, the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, the Open Championship. All right. And then we're going to go with the elevated ones are going to be the Century Tournament of Champions, the Genesis Invitational, the Arnold Palmer, the Memorial, the WC Match Play, FedEx St. Jude, the BMW Championship, and the Tour Championship. Those are the 8. They're going to announce 4 more of those. And I would assume, I'm just going to guess, that would be, we already got the Genesis, so that's a Riviera. I'm going to guess, I don't know what I'm going to guess, because I think this is what's going to happen. I think this is what's going to happen is there's going to be a bidding war for the sponsors to say, we want to be one of those 4 other events. So I think the tour is going to leverage that. That's what I think they're going to do. And I would imagine that, although I would like it to be like Torrey Pines would be a good one, and some of these more high-profile golf courses that we like to see, I would want those. But yeah, I think it's going to be sponsor-based, and they'll probably move around based on who's offering the most money. So that's what I think is actually going to happen there. And they may or may not admit to that. Who knows? Who cares? Also, here's what I found interesting. The Player Impact Program will now reward 20 players, and it will double from 50 million to 100 million. This is that PIP program, the Player Impact Program, which is the biggest piece of nonsense, in my opinion, because it's like Tiger is going to win, obviously, so he's going to get first place. He's going to get the most, and at least they're doing more than 10, but the way they measure this is so ridiculous, and the only people that get into this are the PGA Tour players. Like, the other people around the world who promote the PGA Tour get nothing, 0. And so that's what's funny is and I'm not just talking about me, there's a lot of, let's say, influencers out there that promote this in a way that reaches an audience that the PGA Tour doesn't have, yet those people get absolutely 0 for doing that. So 0 incentive. Whereas, let's say a dude on tour, let's say Ricky Fowler, for example, he can have a big social media presence and get that, but it will affect if he's actually the one doing it, it's going to affect his time and his preparation and his focus for preparing for events. So that's where I think that really harms the players more than helps them. They might get money, but you would have to hire somebody to do that. Like Max Homa, he does it himself, so he'll probably be up there. But if I'm doing that full time, like at that level, I would think you would need to put all your full time into preparation for events and not deal with social media. So for them to even want that is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. That's something they said. I would personally hire somebody to do that for me and hope that, and I would just pay them based on what they earned on the PIP program. So I say, look, the higher you get, the higher, I'd give them a cut of it, a percentage, give them some incentive. That's how I'd run that if it were me. All right. And then what they're going to do is beginning in 2023, this is interesting. Fully exempt Korn Ferry Tour members and above will get a $500,000 league minimum. Okay, so anybody on the Korn Ferry Tour or higher gets a minimum of $500,000. So you're not going to make less than $500K. All right, that's cool. And fully exempt, these are people who are fully exempt on those tours and play in at least 15 events. Rookies and players earning their way back onto the PGA Tour can receive that $500K up front. The rest of them, it's paid out based on, let's say you made $250,000 at the end of the season, then they would pay you the rest, right? Whereas if you're going on the PGA Tour as a rookie or a returning player, it's like, hey, here's the $500K, helps get your travel things so that you can, take care of things. All right, interesting. And all non-exempt members from position 126 to 150 and below will have access to new travel stipend programs, which will provide them $5,000 for every missed cut to assist with travel costs. Okay, will this affect, what will this do? Okay, so you got to ask yourself, let's say you're one of those players and you're going to receive $5,000 if you miss a cut. All right, is this going to, let's say, encourage these guys? I'm not going to say encourage them to miss a cut, but it may encourage them to play in a lot more events just to make sure they get that money. Every little bit helps. Like they're helping out their caddy or whatever. Like, okay, I'm going to play in all these just because this really isn't a tournament I care about, but I'm going to enter in just to work on some stuff. I'm going to miss the cut most likely. At least I get my caddy paid and, and cover some of the other stuff. That's cool. And it could get kind of it could muck the waters is what I'm saying, because people may do that. Or let's say you're on the edge of that cut line. You're like, all right, I'm playing horrible. If I make this 6-footer, I make the cut, but I'm going to finish in last place. And then you're like, how much will that get me? If I miss the cut, I get $5K. Where am I with that? You might be doing that type of accounting there on the 18th hole. I'm not sure, but it could get sticky. But hey, at least they're doing something in that regard. All right. Then here's what we got. Let's see. Starting this season, if you qualify for the Tour Championship, okay, you get exempt for 2 seasons on the PGA Tour. All right. Now, if you win, you're exempt for 2 seasons. But there's people who qualify for the Tour Championship, top 30, who haven't won, so therefore they don't get 2 seasons of exemption. So now if you just qualify for the top 30, you're exempt for 2 seasons. Okay. So a little more incentive to make that top 30. If you're in the top 30, you're probably fine for the next 2 seasons anyways, so I don't think that really matters. But at least for a few players, down there at the bottom, it gives them a little bit of kind of wiggle room, takes a little stress off their plate so that they can know that, hey, they got 2 seasons. And then also what they're doing is if you qualify for the Tour Championship at East Lake, then you're in the Century Tournament of Champions in January, Kapalua, that event. So no longer do you have to win to get there. You just have to qualify for the Tour Championship. So you can have a winless season, but guess what you get in there? And that event is now one of the heightened 12 events. That's why they're doing that, because they're like, okay, we got to let these players in because that's one of the main events, and we want the top players in. And what they're doing for that Century Tournament Champions is that's now a full FedEx Cup points event. It's even more, right? Those heightened events are more FedEx Cup points. So they're doing this so that people go there and play. They want the top players to play there. And they're saying, okay, all the top players that we still have that haven't been taken over to live, you're going to play at the Century. We want you in Hawaii, is what we're saying. We don't care if you want or not. We want you, top players, in Hawaii playing Century Tournament Champions. And that's one of the events that you kind of are agreeing to. So these top players, they're in for 20 events a year. 20, okay? And they're, at least we know what events they're going to be at, except for 4 right now, but they'll announce that soon enough. So they get all of that. They're really, making an effort here. They're going down swinging, and they're giving them a lot of that stuff also. And and kind of the last thing is that lifetime members will no longer have a requirement of 15 seasons of membership. So you only need those. If you get 20 wins, you're a lifetime member. So I guess Phil's a lifetime member. Maybe not. I don't know how they work that one, but if you have 20 wins, you're a lifetime member, not 20 wins plus 15 seasons of membership. Okay. So with all that being said, it's interesting that this all happened. What's not being said? I'll say it. Would all this be possible if it were not for Phil Mickelson and all the other guys who have left the PGA Tour? Would they have done this? No, they wouldn't. Of course they would not. This would never have happened without Liv. And not just Liv. You could have Liv, but you need people to leave, okay? There's rumors that in this PGA Tour meeting that players were going to boycott, let's say, major championships if Liv players came over and played. All right? So they're willing to step out. Rumor has it that they're willing to make a statement, make a stand against the players that went over to Liv. All right. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. But rumor is, allegedly, that's what they said, and that they're willing to do this. All right. Well, the players who left the PGA Tour, they did the exact same thing in reverse. They were willing to leave to make a statement. Look, things need to change. Phil has been saying stuff like this for years. He has been, and a lot of players have been like, hey, you guys aren't listening to us. Here's what we want. This is what we want. This is what we're after. Let's do this. Da, 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 da. And they would not do it. No. Right? And guess what? Now they're doing like everything. They're scrambling. They're scrambling big time. PGA Tour is even going public. They're going to be companies, this is what's going to happen. Companies are going to invest in the PGA Tour, and they're going to be infused with billions of dollars to be able to do this and all these other things, so that they have all this cash now to do all these things that will compete against Liv. Even Tiger and Rory, they're talking about doing there's a Monday night event coming. They're going to do a lot of these other events that are supposedly going to help grow the game. Everybody talks about growing the game, but whatever. I guess you can only do it through PGA Tour, and you can't do it through a different company. Whatever. Like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. I just love golf. So it doesn't really matter to me what the tour is or who's on it, if it's good and exciting, I'm going to watch. Yeah, I would watch that with Tiger and Rory and all that. But none of this would have happened if it weren't for Greg Norman, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, all the names that have walked, literally, in essence, boycotted the PGA Tour and said, we're out of here. If it weren't for them, none of these changes would have happened. None of them. And so is it good for golf? Now the PGA Tour is saying, look what we're doing. Look how we're growing the game. Look at all the good things we're now doing. Let's not be fooled here. They would not be doing any of this if it weren't for the competition and the people who walked. They wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be all of a sudden like, look at all the good we're doing for the game. No way, no how, not in a bazillion years. Well, guess what? You bring a competitor in the mix and things change. Competition is good. It's good to make things better. You might not like it because you want a monopoly and you want all the money and you want to keep it to yourselves and hoard it all and me. As badly as you talk about the people who back live and where they get the money from and all that, as much as you badmouth them, you're doing something yourself, which is keeping it all for you, for whatever reason. But now those things are changing because of the big bad wolf around the corner. Come on. You can't change your tune all of a sudden and say, look how awesome we are, when you would not be awesome in any way, shape, or form if it weren't for the big bad wolf. So, I like it. I think it's good personally. I think this is something it will ultimately grow the game because more and more people are interested all of a sudden. They're like, what's going on? What's happening? What's this? What's that? Oh, I like this. I like that. So it's working, growing the game. It's just not the way you would have had planned it if it was your monopoly. You want to keep that. So competition, in my opinion, is always good. It makes everybody better, and it is making the game a lot better. A lot going on. It's exciting. Let me know what you think about all of this. Where are you at with it? What are you going to watch? Are you going to watch both? Are you going to stick with one? Are you going to flip to the other? Where are you at with that? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there. See you soon.